Let's get this sports podcast party started, all right?
The J Reels Podcast.
But for Alonso to come out and say that he wants to be a lifelong Met, and he has said all the right things over the years, LFGM in the postgame, how much he wants to be a part of this organization, this team, etc. He loves the guys, so on and so forth. But here he is. He's about to go into a walk year where if he even bats 270, you already know what the output is going to be offensively. Last year he batted, 210, 218, somewhere in the 210s, and he still put up 46 and about 115. So if he bats 270, he's probably going to put up those same numbers or even more. And with all the money that's been thrown around, maybe not this offseason, to guys like Cody Bellinger or even a guy like Matt Chapman, forget about the pitchers, put Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery aside. But for Pete Alonso, I'm sure he's going to make this season his own personal vendetta. And it starts with the owner, first and foremost. And I don't want to hear about David Stearns, who I'm down on. I don't want to even go into David Stearns right this very second, who's even come out to say that the likelihood of signing Alonso before the start of the year was very unlikely. Pretty much giving Alonso the pep talk like, hey, go out there, have a kick butt year, and we'll see where the chips fall after the season. David Stearns, come on, you're flirting with danger if you do that. And Steve Cohen, this is his call. This is going to be similar to Aaron Judge 2 years ago when Hal Steinbrenner on a trip to Italy had to pick up the phone to call Aaron Judge to say, what is the price? Let me know what you want, and we got you. We'll sign you on the dotted line. Steve Cohen's going to have to do that. So David Stearns, just stay out of the way. And now this to you, Steve Cohen. For all of that talk, after all the trades last year and going into 2024 as being a competitive year that will go into 2025, ready to go, we'll do our best to get that World Series team up and coming and on the go, where this year was going to be that, I don't want to say a touch and go year, but certainly gave them the safety net to not have to go after the big player or the sexy addition to the team and just kind of play it out with these small moves and the Joey Wendells of the world and the Sean Manayas and players like that, where we're going to piecemeal it together, where we're going to have more of a closer-knit team. And yes, we will still have Pete Alonso. We will still have Francisco Lindor. We're going to have Brandon Nimmo and Jeff McNeil, and all right, we'll have all these little guys. All right, fine. So we're going to be almost like the little engine that could, to where the year before we were the evil empire. Well, Steve Cohen, you also talked about sharing the same blueprint of the Dodgers and the Braves. And the Dodgers, obviously, they spend big money, and we get it. You weren't going to follow that blueprint. All right, fine, understood. But the Braves have made their small moves. They brought in Jared Kelenic. They've traded guys like Mike Soroka and even Kyle Wright, who was a 21-game winner, to other teams. And yes, they have kept their homegrown talent. Whether that's signing Austin Riley to a 10-year, $212 million deal, which looks like a bargain right now. Ronald Acuna Jr. many years ago, 8 for 100. You talk about bargain. The guy just came off of an MVP. You bring in a guy like Matt Olson, where you say goodbye to Freddie Freeman, we're not going to pay you. He comes in, signs an 8-year, $168 million deal. What does he do? He puts up 53 home runs last year. And now you want to be able to follow those footsteps for a team in your own division that has made these moves, that have kept their players, and you're not willing to hammer out a deal. I get it, Scott Boras is the guy you got to deal with, the agent of Pete Alonso. But guess what? After this year where Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander comes off the books, and you'll have one more year with Starling Marte and a couple other guys, yes, you are paying Francisco Lindor. Yes, you are paying Kodai Senga $15 million a year, I might add. So it's not as if you're breaking the bank for a guy like that. You have plenty of payroll. So all the deep pockets that you have and you've flexed and talked about since you became the owner of the team, and now that you've tempered it a little bit going into this year, well, guess what? You got to start paying the big bucks. Homegrown guy, the guy's going to break all the Met records, a guy who could be another retired number in the rafters of Citi Field when it's all said and done. I understand he's not Darryl Strawberry, where he has that appeal of a guy that's going to be a lightning rod to your team. But then again, he's not Dave Kingman either. Although his 210, 215 batting average last year resembles that. I get it. But here's a guy that could be the face of your franchise for the next 6, 8, however many years. Because Lindor, let's face it, he was a guy that was brought in and they had to bring him in, I understand. But he isn't the guy that's the leader of your team. It's Alonso. And if you don't sign this guy on a dotted line at any point, but even especially before opening day, for all the things that you've said about wanting to be like the Braves and be like other teams, to have those guys in your lineup day in, day out for years to come, put up or shut up. That is it.